I must also ask on the political scene, what are Sindhis doing for themselves? The political party that is the predominant political party in Pakistan today is the People's Party. And if you ask people, where does the People's Party draw its strength? People would say from the rural Sindh. And yet, as we have seen here, this political party has done little, if anything, for the rural Sindh. And yet the people of the Sindh have continued to vote for this political party. And so I think it's right to ask here if there's going to be a change. Excuse me, I've been fighting 3 weeks of cold. There is nothing quite like spending 10 days in Kabul, Afghanistan, to pick up the worst of everything. Also, thank you so much. Also asking, as you have in your literature, that the Sindh not be left to the large landowners. I've got to ask now, what is taking place? Should Sindhi organizations be in favor of a responsible land reform? These are questions, indeed, which have to be addressed. Now, they're important on themselves, but they're, as I suggested a moment ago, they're important because when we look at the United States, when people in the United States, when people in the Congress, and those of us in the think tank communities who go out and speak about and write about these, we want to be able to say, these people are doing everything for themselves, and we have got to do more to help them because they're on the right track. So I want you not to take for granted, and Congressman Ackermann can speak to this so much better than I can, that the United States is going to be there for Pakistan and is going to help Pakistan in the right direction. We have a tremendous job here in maintaining this partnership with Pakistan. And it can't be maintained unless it's a partnership of mutual interests. And it's got to be, as far as the United States is concerned, it's got to be based on our recognition that we share some common values, some universal values. And that, I repeat, includes women's rights. And that this is respected. And on that basis, we are in so much better position to be able to win over our colleagues who are all too easy these days in saying, oh, as soon as we take care of Al-Qaeda, we're out of there. Not to recognize the stakes that the United States has today. In South Asia, we cannot repeat the era of 1989-90, when we walked away only to see all of the problems that we have today having their seeds in those decisions that were made when we thought that that our interests really were no longer lay in that region. So we have a job here, and we need you to help us make this case that this is an important partnership. And one of the ways you can do it has already been suggested tonight, the fact that the Sindh stands out as a bulwark against the kind of extremism that one finds so rampant in Pakistan today. Now the point is to energize that, to make it not just simply as a point of reference, but to show that the Sindh is actively working to neutralize those forces in Pakistan who are pushing the country in an extremist direction. It's been a pleasure to be with you this evening, and I wish you the very best. Thank you.
The Honorable Congressman Gary Ackermann belongs to several committees in the House of Representatives, including the Committee on Foreign Affairs. He is currently the chairperson of the Subcommittee on the Middle East and South Asia. His membership of the Committee on Financial Services includes vice chairmanship of the Subcommittee on Capital Markets, Insurance, and Government-Sponsored Enterprises. It's with great pleasure that I introduce Congressman Ackermann.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Halipota. Sitting with your dad, he's very proud of you. Appreciate the introduction. I'm delighted to be here this evening with you and the Cindy American Political Action Committee for your inaugural, that's important, event here tonight in the nation's capital. I also want to thank Winwar Lagari for his tremendous efforts in bringing the event together and making sure that I got here. And I want to also recognize who's not here tonight, tonight's chief guest, my colleague and my friend on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Brad Sherman, who I expect will be here shortly. It's a busy night for us. I'd also like to add my welcome and thanks, and sorry I only heard the last part of it, the remarks by Dr. Marvin Weinbaum, and I missed Sig Harrison, who are two of Washington's most distinguished foreign policy experts, and you're very fortunate to have both of them here tonight. Brad, I was just talking about you and saying how busy you were. We make alibis for each other, which I guess is. Tonight marks an important turning point for your community. Like all of the other people of the world who have come to make America their home, there has been a pause between your arrival as a community and your political arrival in Washington, D.C. So allow me to offer my congratulations to you. You have arrived in American politics, and you are most welcome in it. Every ethnic community comes to the United States with its own heritage, its own concerns, and its own history, and every community contributes to the strength and vitality of this nation. The sophisticated exercise their rights positively to influence public policy. Our great diversity of national and ethnic origins is one of the things that sets this nation apart, and we are right to celebrate that. You see it on our coins, you see it in the chamber of the House of Representatives, and you see it in everyday life of this country. E pluribus unum. Out of many, we are one. The contribution of South Asians to the United States has already been felt in academia, medicine, technology, and business. The next step, I believe, is in popular culture, and more importantly, what you embark upon tonight, in politics. And the moment is ripe for your political activism to take shape. Because of the 9/11 attacks on the United States and the ongoing war in Afghanistan, American attention is focused on South Asia as never before. And your help in explaining the vast complexity of this region is urgently needed. In land area, as you know, South Asia is half the size of the United States. Literally 2 South Asias can fit within our borders. But South Asia is home to more than 1.6 billion people, and the United States, twice that size, has just over 300 million. In Pakistan alone, while official business is done in English, there are 5 major provincial languages and at least 50 other languages spoken among the 180 million citizens. And such a variety is by no means unique in the entire region. Facts such as these are not the basis for American policy making, but they should be a cause for caution. South Asia is a region of almost unimaginable complexity, and most Americans come to it as strangers, as outsiders. And more unfortunately for many Americans, this region is still primarily seen through the lens of the attacks on our country on September 11th. As all of you well know, this association is doubly tragic. The mad and wicked men responsible for 9/11, of course, are not from South Asia, and their true ambitions are directed toward the Arab Middle East, not the subcontinent. But worse still, South Asia's own problems have become horribly engrossed in the struggle we face to destroy the threat of radical extremism. As all of you know, that before 9/11, India and Pakistan had fought several wars and gone to the brink of war